Part of building that lifelong connection with your baby starts with feeding them. As a new parent, knowing how to feed your baby will not only help to make this a special time, but a positive experience for both of you. Understanding what foods and when to feed them to your baby will also ensure that your baby grows and develops properly. The information in this video applies to healthy, full-term babies. Parents with questions about feeding their babies born before full term or with specific medical conditions are advised to discuss this with their doctor or a registered dietitian. Making your own baby food is easy, nutritious, and an inexpensive way to feed your baby solid foods. It allows you to prepare small amounts of food at a time and to match the texture of your baby's food right to their stage of development. It also allows your baby to enjoy the same types of foods as the rest of the family. No matter what kind of baby food you're making, you should always start by washing your hands with warm soapy water and making sure that all the surfaces and equipment you are planning to use are clean. To make your own baby food using vegetables or fruit, start by washing, peeling, coring, and removing any seeds from the fresh or frozen vegetable or fruit you have chosen. Once cleaned, cut up the vegetable or fruit into smaller pieces. If you're using the stove, place the cut up pieces either into a steamer in a small amount of boiling water or directly into a pot with a small amount of boiling water and cook the pieces until they're tender. If you're using a microwave, place the vegetable or fruit pieces in a microwave-safe bowl with a small amount of water and cook until tender. This usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes on the high setting. Once tender, drain the vegetable or fruit pieces, making sure to save your cooking liquid. Puree the cooked pieces by using a food processor, blender, or food mill and some of the cooking water. The amount of cooking liquid will determine the texture. For more pureed, smooth textures, use more liquid. For drier, less runny textures, use less cooking liquid. It's only necessary to cook vegetables and fruit first if you're using hard textured fruits and vegetables. If the fruit or vegetable you are offering is soft and can be easily pureed or mashed, then cooking is not necessary. Just puree them to the desired texture. When making your own baby food using meat, always separate any raw meat, poultry or fish, from other foods such as vegetable and fruit by using a separate cutting board and set of utensils and washing any equipment used in the preparation thoroughly. This prevents the spread of harmful bacteria. To make baby food using meat or lentils, start by removing all the fat, skin, and bones from meat, poultry, and fish and cooking them until well done and tender. Chop the cooked meat into pieces or drain the beans or lentils and place them in a blender, food processor, or food mill. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons or 15 to 30 ml of liquid and begin to puree. Slowly add another 1 to 2 tablespoons of liquid until you have a smooth puree. The liquid you use can be breast milk, plain water, or the liquid left over from cooking vegetables and fruit. Remember, plain, nutritious foods are best for your baby, so there's no need to add any sugar, salt, or fat to your homemade baby food. Homemade baby food can be made at each meal and allows your baby to enjoy eating the same types of foods as the rest of the family. There is no need to make large amounts of pureed food. This is because your baby will progress quickly from pureed to more textured foods. By simply using different kitchen tools, you can increase the texture of your homemade baby food. For strained, pureed, and smooth textures, a food processor, blender, or food mill works best. A potato masher and fork are excellent to make mashed textures. For minced, finely chopped, and grated foods, a grater and kitchen knife are ideal. And to make diced and cubed foods, a simple kitchen knife is all you need. Extra baby food can be stored in the fridge or freezer. Fresh homemade baby food may be kept in the fridge for up to 2 days. When freezing baby food, put it into ice cube trays or drop spoonfuls onto a cookie sheet, cover, and place in the freezer. Once the food is frozen, empty the cubes or spoonfuls into a plastic freezer bag and label the contents with the name and the date the food was prepared. Frozen homemade baby food can be kept in the freezer for several months. Remember, it's important not to make large quantities of frozen baby food because your baby progresses through textures quickly and you may get stuck with too much of one texture. To thaw any frozen baby food, place it in the refrigerator overnight to defrost. Defrost it in the microwave, or place it in a sealed container submersed in cold water. It is not recommended to thaw baby food on the counter at room temperature. This is because room temperatures can allow bacteria to form. To heat homemade baby food, use a microwave or double boiler. Remember to stir and rotate often when reheating to avoid hot spots in the food. Heat your baby's food until it is lukewarm but not hot, and always test the temperature of the food before feeding it to your baby. For food safety reasons, it's important to throw away any leftover homemade baby food after it's been reheated. So remember, making your own baby food is simple, nutritious, and cost-effective. You can adjust the texture of your homemade baby food by using basic pieces of kitchen equipment. And it's important to follow the proper guidelines on how to store, thaw, and reheat any homemade baby food.